I really don't care what happened last night. You tried. You tried to squeeze her boob. You thought you'd get a little nipple rub. I don't know what you were thinking. You had too much tequila, too much rum, too much vodka, whatever it was. There is no excuse. So now we are here on Saturday morning. I can't deal with this anymore, Dave. I can't. Every Saturday morning I've got to nurse these kids through the hangover.
That's what we're here for. We are your Saturday morning hangover cure.
See, you are the nice guy.
We are
You're the good cop.
Frenzy
I'm the bad cop.
The weekend edition, damn it.
You're the good cop and I'm the bad cop. Is that
week,
what it is?
This week.
Yes. Is that what it is now?
This week, yes.
All right, get your goddamn ass in the kitchen.
You know what you need to do. Coffee, eggs, bacon, sausage. Sit your damn ass down and listen to us. We'll tell you what you need to do.
Listen to, watch,
read
throughout the weekend. It is your Saturday morning hangover cure.
He's your Uncle Kev, the maestro, Kevin Crane.
And he is your Uncle Dave, the conquistador, Dave Height, taping here on May the 15th, 2024. This will hit Saturday morning, of course. May the 18th. We have new music to review for you this week.
One song and one album.
Sebastian Bach, the man, the myth, the legend, who Dave and we've expressed our profound love and admiration for this man over the years.
The reinvention of himself. The coming to terms with who he is.
And there is great news, by the way. Great news this past week.
Coming out on tour?
He says that he talked to Eddie Trunk this past week. He said there was a miscommunication that has lingered on for years between him and Rachel Bolan and Snake Sabo. That he says if he composes the perfect email, they will get back together.
Boom! Confetti.
So we could be looking at, the timing is perfect because Sebastian Bach's current solo tour ends late summer. Skid Row does not have a lead singer right now except Lizzie Hale.
Filling in.
For a few shows.
For just a few.
By the end of 2024, we could, fingers crossed,
have a Skid Row reunion.
Hell to the yeah.
Boom, baby.
Cannot express how excited I am. And I know he wants this. And I think
Skid Row wants this.
And I think as we review the brand new album from Sebastian Bach, Child Within a Man, we will delve into why I think he needs them just as much as they need him. This goes back to a theme that Dave and I discuss all the time recently with Mark Knopfler.
Yeah.
We've talked about it with people like Sting, Steve Perry. The group dynamic works better than the solo artist in most cases. So let us discuss Sebastian Bach's brand new solo album, Child Within the Man. And I think this is another example, and we've talked about this for next week. We talked about the fact that I am not sure you want to listen to the new Kings of Leon, because even though the first 4 singles are great, I don't think the rest of the album holds up. And unfortunately, I might almost say the same thing about Child Within the Man.
We are stuck in a rut.
It seems like the same thing over and over and over again.
You get almost the first half of an album that is fan-freaking-tastic, and then it falls off.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. I got through the first 4 songs on this album, and I thought, hell yeah, this is going to be the next great hard rock album.
You think this is going to be in the running for Song of the Year or Album of the Year?
Well, now let's tell the kids the first 3 of the first 4 songs are the songs we've already reviewed.
Right.
So we reviewed Everybody Bleeds. We reviewed Hold On to the Dream, which gets better every time I listen to it.
That is
That
the
is
best
the ultimate
freaking song
That
on
is
the
the
album.
ultimate. I want to hear it live because
Yes.
we're going to be all like
Yes.
pumping and cheering.
Hold On to
You
the Dream
son of a bitch
is the best fucking song on the album.
Oh my God. It gets, I'm serious, better and better
It
every
does.
time I listen to it. And they trick you. He tricks you with this.
Thinking, oh shit, it's a ballad,
Yeah.
seriously, but
And it's got the cheesy title. And it is a nasty, heavy metal thumping, everybody in the
Rock
arena
and melt your
screaming
face
and
off.
yelling. Yep. Hey, shout it out loud. Oh my God, I loved it. Loved it. And then we get, going back to last year, the first single, What Do I Got to Lose? By the way, do you know who co-wrote that song with him?
Who?
Who is the busiest man in hard rock?
Would that be one Miles Kennedy?
I did not know Miles Kennedy co-wrote What Do I Got to Lose? Yeah, with him. Miles Kennedy just wakes up in the morning and goes, let me give you a hit song.
He shits hit songs before he has a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Come on.
And then sandwiched in between the 3 singles is Freedom, which is a very good song.
Freedom is in the running. It's right there.
Guest guitarist, John 5. Of course, now with Motley Crue.
Yep.
So you're like 4 songs in.
And you're like, then Hard Darkness is a little drop off, but it's still okay.
Big drop off. Screechy.
It's just a little screechy.
He sounds screechy on this. And this has been my problem with Sebastian Bach's solo albums, is that he will lose it. He's like Halliburton with the Pacers. We talked about.
Or he's either on or off.
You said pattern. Pattern is perfect way to describe what we've been dealing with.
4 phenomenal songs, then you hit a lull.
Give me a full album of top quality. I've only got 2 albums this year. 2 albums this year.
You get 4 solid, you get 4 drop off, you get a back to a bump up, and then a drop off.
Yes, I agree completely. And there's only 2 albums this year where I would say I have been happy beginning to end. And that, of course, would be Judas Priest and the Black Crowes.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah, I have to concur.
That's it.
So after...
Oh, so yeah, go ahead, because I know where you're going with the bump up.
What Do I Got to Lose was solid. Then you hit the drop off with Hard Darkness, Future of Youth. Ugh.
But now, do you realize who's playing guitar on that?
I don't care.
That's Orianthi.
Who?
The hot chick.
I don't care.
Okay.
It's still a bad song.
All right.
I
agree.
thought this was the weakest song. Even the ballads I liked a little bit better than this.
I would not say it's the weakest, but it's weak. I will agree with you.
And then I thought with the title like Vendetta, you expected
the last 20 seconds rock.
Yeah,
the last 20 seconds rock.
That's it. It's disappointing. Then you think, F you, this could be good.
No, I liked F you.
It was okay.
Steve Stevens on guitar.
It was okay.
I liked
it. It
F you.
Started to come back.
So now I'm interested to see what you thought was the bump up.
I like Crucify Me.
I hated Crucify Me. I hated it. See, I liked F you.
See, that disappointed me a little bit more. Crucify Me, I liked a little bit better.
I thought you were going with F you for the bump up. No, Crucify Me did nothing for me.
In between there you go.
But then...
And then, at least he saved the ballads for the end.
But they were good. They were good.
No.
To Live Again is awful. The last song.
It is your cheesy ballad that would have hit the top 5 back in the day.
And this is,
you
again,
know this.
where I am going to stress the point we have made week after week, month after month.
You need the dynamic of the full.
Snake and Rachel would have pulled in half these songs, turned them around, made them harder, made them better. And told Sebastian Bach, tighten your shit up on these songs.
No screechy.
They would have kept the good ones, thrown out the bad ones, and said, let's do something better. Because we're Skid Goddamn Row. Skid Row put 3 albums out. Skid Row, Slave to the Grind, Subhuman Race, beginning to end.
Boom.
Every song was awesome. Phenomenal. There was not a bad song on any of those 3 albums.
No.
Because, again...
Why? Because you had the dynamic between Bach and Snake
and Bolan. Yep. This is why...
They were dysfunctional, but they worked well together.
Yes.
They brought the best out of each other.
Yes. And they would tell each other, this is bullshit. This isn't up to our level of quality. This does not work for this dynamic, this group we call Skid Row. Again, Sebastian Bach here doesn't have anybody to say, bullshit, this is not good, Sebastian. This is not top quality stuff. Fine. No, it's my solo. And this has been, he has never put out a top beginning to end quality solo album.
No.
Never has.
No.
He'll have
it's
the same thing as here. He'll put out 3 or 4 songs
that are fan-freaking-tastic, and then it goes down the toilet.
And then it's the rest is filler. And this is why I will always say, I need Dave. He needs me. That's why this works. Because we play off each other.
We don't always agree, and that's fine.
He fills in the gaps for me. I fill in the gaps for him. And that's why this has worked for 30 fucking years. Is because we get it. We make each other stronger. Apart, we're weaker. This is what Sebastian Bach, Mark Knopfler, Steve Perry, all the Sting, all the solo artists need to figure out.
They need their fucking backing group behind them.
They need the yin to their yang. They need somebody to tell them, it's not, this is great, this is not.
You're getting in a rut.
Because these egomaniacs just think, everything I put out is awesome. Every word that drops out of my mouth is a pearl. It's a diamond. No, it's not!
Sometimes it's a turd.
Yeah, sometimes it's bullshit. And these artists have got to figure this out. And this is why Sebastian Bach will go out on tour and he will play 90% Skid Row songs.
Yep, and then take the best of what he's done himself.
Yep, because his solo stuff has never resonated and has never been good enough.
Not for a full album.
And this is why Dave and we went to see Mark Knopfler, 7-8 years ago. And we wanted to hear Dire Straits.
We wanted more Dire Straits than what we got.
Right.
And what we got was not what we wanted.
We still respected his solo work. But we, in the end, wanted more of the edgier Dire Straits stuff.
What did we get?
Screaming women, oh, Romeo and Juliet, let me ruin the song for everybody.
And money for nothing.
Yep. No Sultans of Swing.
Nope. No Skate Away.
Nope. So what do you give it?
2.5.
Can't do it.
Week 2.5.
Can't do it. 2 frenzies. I cannot forgive the rest of the album just because the first 4 songs are good. I can't.
Well, there we go.
And I will say this. This could be the most disappointing album of the year. This could be the most disappointing.
This is the one we were hoping for. And because of the hype we had built up amongst ourselves,
and it sounded
it's
like
disappointing.
It sounded like he through the first 3 releases,
he got it.
he realized I need to tone it down, get a little more melody, a little more pop savvy, like I did with the first Skid Row album. Nope. The rest of it, crap. What? Hook, melody? What are those? I don't understand what those are. There's literally no catchy melody or hook in any of the second half of the album.
No, it's so disappointing.
Yep. All right, so how do you feel about Mike Campbell and the Dirty Knobs? Of course, Mike Campbell, formerly Tom Petty's right-hand man.
Yep. And there is still, we reviewed the last song, there is so much Tom Petty influence.
He sounds like Tom Petty.
Exactly. He sounds like Tom Petty. The same.
It's
seriously.
Amazing.
If you did not know that it was Campbell and the Dirty Knobs, you would think you were listening to Tom Petty singing with the Heartbreakers.
Yep. Except, I think you can tell the difference in the songwriting.
A little bit, yes.
I think you can tell Tom Petty was a stronger
songwriter
than Mike Campbell. And as much as I have tried, of course, we reviewed a couple years ago their last album, External Combustion, which it grew on me to a point.
Yeah, but it's still...
He doesn't have the lyrical, the wit that, Tom Petty had that sardonic, sarcastic wit in his lyrics that you just don't. This is a very, I'm sorry,
pedestrian,
generic song.
It is. It's pedestrian.
Yeah. Now there's a little bit more of an edge to it because it's him.
He's got a little more harder edge blues vibe to it, which I dig.
But when I saw the title, I was kind of, oh God. Dare to Dream? What is this, a Whitney Houston song? What is this?
Are we going ballady?
Yeah.
But it was
it's not ballady.
Harder, more of a harder blues.
You got a little slide guitar on it. But it's still...
But it's
disappointing for a first single.
Yeah.
With the brand new album coming out, this was very disappointing for a first single.
Yeah,
I give it 2. 2 frenzies again.
Yeah.
And I hate to be the
Debbie Downer on this.
Yeah, this whole segment, this whole...
It was disappointing. We had higher expectations that were not met.
Yeah, for next week I'm going to take the bullet and I'm going to review Kings of Leon's brand new album. And I've kind of told Dave stay away because even when I get feedback from my daughter telling me that it was disappointing, there's no way in holy hell Dave's gonna like it. Jerry. There's no way in holy hell Dave's gonna like it, and I don't want to revisit the whole Dave Matthews Band thing. I don't want to go there again because it took me months and months and months to gain his trust back when it came to music. So I don't want to go there again. So what we will do in addition to my review of the Kings of Leon is we will break down the new Collective Soul double album in half.
Yes, we will. We don't want to do an injustice to them or ourselves
and rush it. No.
So you're going to get 10 and 10.
Yep. And I have listened to the second single, which came out last Friday. Bluer Than So Blue. Fucking awesome.
There we go.
Unlike the first single, Mother's Love, where we thought they kind of ripped themselves off.
Yeah.
Bluer Than So Blue is them, but a whole new... They change everything up.
Good.
Which is what you would expect.
That's what you
would expect from them. They have the sound. Everything is there. The lyrics, very just awesome.
But it's
awesome
new
song
and different.
Yes. Yep. Much, much better than Mother's Love.
Good.
And I like Mother's Love, even though
Mother's
it was
Love was good,
derivative.
but it was
derivative.
It was a ripoff of what they've done before.
Right. This is not. This is they tweak the formula, they shift the formula a little bit. I love it. And the lyrics are great. They're simplistic, but they're great. It's basically the sap, the guy taking in the girl, even though she wants to talk about another guy.
Would this be your buddy? Sorry.
No, he doesn't listen to podcasts. I don't care. No, but it's just
but
that's the whole tale behind Bluer Than So Blue.
But you know this person.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. And so it's just it's great to listen to. The guitar hook is phenomenal. So loved
Very
it,
cool.
loved it,
All
loved
right.
it.
We will get into that and then some.
Yep. So the first 10 songs next week, the second 10 the week after. All right, Dave. The upfronts were this past week. You know what the upfronts are?
What are the upfronts?
It's not just a chick flashing her boobs at you. That here up front. No,
I like that upfront.
The upfronts are when
like the T-shirt said at the concert we were at. Easily distracted by titties and tacos.
No, the upfronts are when the big companies now, including the streaming companies, tell us what's going to be coming up in the fall and into 2025.
So we can be depressed early.
Yeah. So I'm going to run some of these by you. See what you think. All right. We know The Boys season 4 is coming up soon.
Yes, we do.
Amazon, obviously. So happy with The Boys. They've already renewed it for season 5. Even before season 4 hits. And they're actually impressed with what they've got so far from Cross. Of course, Alex Cross.
Really?
James
Has
Patterson.
it even hit yet?
No, but they like it so much they've already renewed that for season 2 with Aldous Hodge as Alex Cross, and I like him.
He's
so
good.
I'm going to watch this.
I will
watch this.
Like I said, I liked the first couple movies. We'll see how this works out.
Yep.
But I just hate that Patterson's getting more fucking money out of this.
Yeah, I know. Well, you and I both agree on that. Patterson's a hack.
He is the Shakespeare of the times.
But if you can take this character
and disassociate the author.
Again, with a great actor like Morgan Freeman
was brilliant as Alex Cross.
But Aldous Hodge, I love him. I think he could do a great job with this character. And let's just say, let's hope they go to Patterson and go, yeah, we got it covered.
We're okay.
They will actually redo the scripts, make them a little more deep,
Yeah.
than the pablum that we get from James Patterson.
The early Pattersons had more depth to them. And then he just went.
There you go. Well, I hope you're ready for another Tomb Raider, because we're getting another Tomb Raider.
Why?
Amazon again. Here's the thing that bothers me. Now, originally we had Angelina Jolie, right?
Yeah.
And that did fairly well. You got 2 movies out of that. They did okay.
They weren't fantastic.
And then they tried to reboot it. Didn't work. So now they're going to take... This is my problem with this. I think Tomb Raider could work if you put it in the right hands. But they're going to take the woman who played Indiana Jones' daughter in the failed Dial of Destiny and let her run it full on. She's going to write it, direct it. She's going to take care of all of it. Phoebe Waller-Bridge will take the lead role as Lara Croft. This sounds like a disaster waiting to happen. Now, did you ever see Dial of Destiny?
No.
She does not strike me in the least as anybody who can pull off Lara Croft. Sorry. Not even close.
You have to have a hard edge to be Lara Croft.
Yep. Yeah. And she seems as soft as a marshmallow. Let's put it that way.
That's not a good combination.
Now, you like Shark Week, right?
Oh yeah.
You
All
love
about
Shark Week?
Discovery Shark Week.
Your host for Shark Week starting July the 7th.
It's got to be better than Jason Momoa.
It is. It is. You'll be happy with this. Our man, John Cena.
All right. That's a step up. So we went from The Rock to Momoa to Cena. So we went, drop, back up even better.
All right, now I go bad news.
Do you know a few years back it was Jason Riggle was doing a lot?
Oh, yeah? Yeah.
Riggle was fantastic, especially with Shaq.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. So good.
Well, you want bad news now?
No.
Because I told you I got a lot of stuff here. We have been looking forward to Daredevil, Born Again, right?
Yes.
The return of Daredevil with the Kingpin and the Punisher.
Right.
John Bernthal. March of 2025.
Oh, they pushed it back even further now.
So we will not get Daredevil Born Again until March of next year. And Disney Plus wonders why nobody subscribes to their shitty service.
Because they can't put anything out on time.
You want some more bad news?
Well, I know the second of the Mortal Kombat movies isn't coming out until October of 2025.
Why would I care about that?
Well, that's for me and Nick.
I hated that movie. I don't like Mortal Kombat.
You uncultured swine.
Well, I'm being sarcastic on this one. I don't think it's really going to hurt you, but just the fact that it exists is probably going to piss you off. That's the part I like.
Shut up, Kev.
Amazon has announced that they were so happy with the performance of Roadhouse that they're going to set up a sequel with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Why the fuck would you do that? It was a piece of shit garbage movie. It was awful. There was nothing redeeming about it.
They don't care about what we think. Haven't you figured that out by now?
Oh my God. Guess what I'm not going to watch?
We have always talked about there are certain movies, certain TV shows you don't fuck with. And we said Roadhouse, don't fuck with Roadhouse. Right? Didn't we say that?
Yes, we did. And
the
they
one
fucked
exception,
with Roadhouse.
The one exception we've always said was The Magnificent Seven.
Because it was...
Even though when they said they were going to make it, we said, oh, hell no. You don't fuck with the Yul Brynner, Steve McQueen. You don't fuck with the Magnificent Seven. But with Chris Pratt and Denzel Washington, they made it work.
They did. It was a recreation.
Still not as good as the original.
Oh no, the original's still so much better. But I could deal with it.
Right.
Roadhouse blew fucking goats.
Only time.
Only time this has worked.
Yes. All right,
let's continue with news that pisses off Dave on Spotify, Pocket Cast, Apple, Overcast, Castbox, Amazon, Audible, and iHeart Sports Frenzy, baby.
Otherwise known as iHeartRadio. Of course, you could tell how mad he was as he just barged right in with that, which is what he's supposed to do each and every week. Don't forget to check out the Facebook page.
The sports on Thursdays.
Yep. But if that's not your cup of tea or your cup of vodka or your cup of rum, that's why we're here every Saturday morning for you as your weekover.
Your
weekend.
Pint of beer.
Yep, your weekend hangover cure. So again, the upfronts. So we got a little bit more news here to piss Dave off, and then we'll move on to movies. Now, this one makes him happy. I know this because it makes me happy.
Does it have redeeming qualities?
No, but it's got a foot up your ass, Dave. And of course, this is our legend, who we always honor at the end of every episode.
Oh, Red Foreman's back, baby.
Yep. In these upfronts, Netflix announced that 90s show will be coming back for part 2 and part 3.
First hug.
June 27th. Yeah, June 27th, we get 8 episodes. And then October the 24th, we get 8 more.
All right. That's...
Hey, Foot, would you like to take a trip? Why,
Well,
yes,
yes,
Fred.
I would. Up somebody's ass.
And we get a couple very special guest stars. Snoochie Boochies!
We're not going to ruin it. Watch the trailer. Pay close attention.
Yep. Now, of course, we're trying to get rid of cable, right? Wasn't that the goal, trying to get rid of cable TV? Because cable TV got too expensive, right? So we want to get rid of cable TV. So why the hell are all these streaming services bundling together now?
And raising their fucking rates?
Yes. We get announced not only that Peacock, Netflix, and Apple TV are going to bundle together, but only for Comcast internet customers.
Fuck them. I dumped Comcast internet because it sucks.
But then we get Disney Plus, Hulu, and Max are going to bundle together. So as somebody very astutely said on the internet, why don't we just let everybody bundle everything together and call it fucking cable again? Because that's all it is.
That's where it's going. And it's bullshit. Bundle this, bitch.
Now, you weren't a big Office fan, were you? You're like me, kind of, eh.
I liked it more than you did.
Okay. Well, they're doing a new Office.
I saw that.
Well, I guess it's going to be based with a newspaper.
A dying newspaper.
Right. And
nothing to do with Dunder Mifflin.
Right. But supposedly
it's the same film crew.
Exactly. So you're going to get that coming to Peacock. And then I don't know if this is going to come to Amazon Prime or MGM Plus. God help me. I hope.
What the fuck is MGM Plus?
It's a premium service nobody gives two shits about. But if you remember, did you ever watch the animated Spider-Man multiverse movies?
Yes, with the Morales.
Right.
Yes.
Miles Morales. Do you remember Spider-Man Noir?
Vaguely.
Well, they're going to do a live-action version of Spider-Man Noir starring Nicolas Cage.
Of course he is in it.
He's a big superhero guy. I admire him.
I know he is, but he's more the Superman.
Which, of course, a lot of people don't realize is that he has been into the Superman stuff, and they have made references to that. In The Flash, The Flash made a reference to it.
Yep. And he's big with Teen Titans because in the Teen Titans Go movie, he voiced Batman, and they referenced Batman. He's a national treasure.
Very good. Very, very good.
That's brilliant writing there.
That is good writing. That is. Now, of course, wrestling is not immune to all this crap, which pisses me off beyond all belief. So USA Network had to pay $25 million to extend their deal with Raw from October, November, and December of this year because they had to bridge the gap until Netflix takes over and ruins everything.
Why the hell did they charge so much?
Because technically their contract ended at the end of September.
Well,
so there was the 3-month gap where nobody had the rights to Raw.
Well, guess what? Then the TV stations had the WWE by the balls and should have said, "Oh, you want to be on? Let's make a deal.
Yep. Now USA gets SmackDown a little bit earlier than anticipated. They will get that on September the 13th. I still don't like Netflix having the WWE. I just don't like it. I don't like Netflix getting involved in sports.
We don't like streaming services in sports, period.
I hate it.
And if you want to find out how we really feel, check out this past Thursday's Sports Edition.
All right. Couple other things, and then we move on to our movie review of the week. You'll like this. This is the final little tidbit I've got from the upfront, but you will love this. And I think I scoop your sons and everybody on this. Now we know the fate, supposedly, of John Wick, right? After the fourth movie.
Supposedly we know.
And we know that they're making the ballerina movie.
At some point.
Well, now they've announced, Lionsgate has announced they are going to make a standalone movie featuring Kane, the blind assassin played by Donnie Yen in John Wick 4. They will begin filming next year, 2025.
I like it.
Yep. Now that he's
Very
paid off,
cool.
he has paid off his debt to the high table.
Now he's,
and this is a whole big deal, Lionsgate. This is how they are insulating themselves from having to depend on John Wick.
Yes, they've got some characters they can develop.
Continental. Now you got Ballerina. Now you got Kane.
And now you've also got the bounty hunter and his dog that you can deal with too.
Mm-hmm. So
there's
smart. Very, very smart.
This is a full-on world that they franchised out.
Yep.
With characters we want to find out more about.
Yeah, I was gonna say, unlike most of these other, like DC and Marvel, when they try to spin characters off.
Yeah, it doesn't work. These are interesting characters with backstories you want to know more.
Yep. All right, so let's move on to our movie review of the week. The tragic, almost Shakespearean tale of the Von Erich family in The Iron Claw.
Zac Efron playing Kevin Von Erich.
Yep.
Wow.
And there is a reason why he is the centerpiece. I'm not going to say it's because he's a great actor. I wasn't overly impressed with his performance, but the movie in and of itself is fantastic.
I didn't know what to expect. And when I'm like, all right, this is probably one I'm going to break up when I watch it. Nope. Freaking A. I got sucked in and watched it beginning to end and was so invested in it.
Yeah.
Just holy crap.
I don't know how much it's a real story. It's a true story. So I don't know if we can actually spoil it for those of you who don't understand that this is a ridiculously tragic story rooted in truth.
Yeah.
And let's just put it this way. The Von Erichs went through hell beyond belief. And it really, for the most part, wasn't of their own doing. It was just circumstance, dumb luck, bad father.
The father was an asshole.
Yeah.
He was an egomaniacal, narrow-minded, one-track, goal-oriented, and he didn't care who in his family he hurt.
Yep.
To achieve what he wanted.
Yep. Fritz Von Erich. And if you remember back, The Wrestler with Mickey Rourke, same kind of dynamic here in that you're going to have the snobs poo-poo it. It's a wrestling movie. No, it's not about wrestling.
No, it's about family dynamics.
Yes. Very little in this movie has to do with wrestling. It's all about upward mobility. Who's the anointed one? Who's going to be the next one to take the title? Who are you leaving behind?
And and you focus on Kevin because, yes, wrestling is his world, but what he cares about most is family.
Yes.
Family is everything. Wrestling is secondary.
Right. Right. And not just he cares about his brothers.
His brothers
but
are
he
at the
also cares
forefront.
about his wife and his kids.
Yes.
And there's a really heartbreaking moment, probably 2/3 of the way in, where the Von Erich curse, he almost treats like it's a disease. And he says, I don't want them to catch it.
Yeah.
Meaning
his wife
his kids.
asks, "Are you coming home
Yes.
tonight?" No, I can't. I don't want this to impact my child.
Yeah, he's sleeping on the floor at the Sportatorium in Texas, his family's wrestling
Venue.
arena, because he just doesn't want to go home and infect his children with what
tragedy.
he believes is a curse, an actual physical, tangible curse. Even though it sounds ridiculous, but if you see what he goes through, if you watch this movie and see what he goes through, you'll understand why.
Yeah, from his perspective, it's like, what the hell?
Yeah, yeah. The ultimate run of bad luck for a family.
It is, but at the same time, how much of it is the result of the father?
Again, yes.
Pushing his sons, but one of them has the awareness that there's more important things.
Yep.
And he's pushed to the back.
Yep. Yeah, he is definitely, because you said that beautifully, because he's the one that's got common sense and awareness of a life outside of wrestling. Fritz basically discards him and says, I don't care if you've got
You're the most talented
and you've got the business acumen.
Yeah.
I don't care. Because obviously you don't care 100% about the family business.
Yeah.
It's a great movie. A great movie. Kudos. I don't have the name. Kudos to the guy who played Ric Flair.
He did a hell of a job.
Yep. You do get the occasional, you get somebody who plays the Harley Race, and then you get Ric Flair in there for a couple minutes. The Freebirds.
Yep.
So you do get a little bit of the historic wrestling stuff in there. But again, this is more about family dynamics, father versus sons. I give it a very, very strong 3 frenzies.
Very strong 3. It could have been more, except the afterlife montage bit was a little over the top and not needed.
See, that didn't bother me. I think, and I'll probably get flack for this, but I don't think Zac Efron, and this goes back to Ricky Stenicki as well. I know I shouldn't compare those two.
No, but he's just.
And there's a wrestling connection there because John Cena
was in
that.
But Efron just doesn't have any. He lacks.
He's charismatic in his looks. You're drawn to his looks. He's got the blue eyes, and obviously in this he's cut beyond belief.
He worked out like a mother to get cut.
But in terms of his acting ability,
there's nothing there.
Yeah, it's a little vacant. He's a little vacant.
Yeah.
And you got the guy who's playing Carrie.
Carrie was much more dynamic.
Well, he's an Emmy Award winner from The Bear.
Right.
The TV show on FX. you can tell he's an actor.
Yeah.
You know,
Efron is eye
Zach.
candy for the ladies.
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah, I would. I'd give him a little bit more credit than that, but not much. But he did a decent job here as the focus. But Fritz much better.
Yeah.
Carrie much better. You could tell
David much better.
his wife, and what she went through much better. Laura Maura Tierney, the one scene as the mother,
Oh
oh,
God.
tore me up. I do not like her as an actress.
No.
But the one scene where she's got to deal with another death in the family.
With the dress.
Yes. She's like, I've got to get another dress. I can't wear the same dress again. And I was like, oh my God. I felt that.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, that poor woman. What is she going through? So it's a very powerful movie. And again, if you're gonna downgrade it because it's wrestling, that's a mistake on your part.
You should not poo-poo it because it's a wrestling movie. It is a family dynamic movie. It is a true life family tragedy movie.
Yes. Yep. And again, it's true. All of it's true. All of it is true. So I kind of knew what was coming throughout the whole movie.
Yeah. Knowing the story of the family ahead of time, you knew when just how were they going to pull it off.
Right.
And they did it very well.
Very, very well. So I was very happy to see this movie did well at the box office. Check out The Iron Claw now on Max.
You won't be disappointed.
I have one other movie review.
You do your movie, then I'll do my book.
This was the final movie I had before I canceled Paramount Plus. I'm not saying I canceled.
It's the reason he canceled Paramount Plus.
I'm not saying that. I will say Paramount Plus has nothing. Right there with HBO Max. I'm tired of the reality TV bullshit. Stop trying to pretend like you've got all this content when all you've got is old movies and reality TV. But I told you kids a couple weeks ago I was going to finish it off, and I did. I did watch Bob Marley.
Love. You did finish it.
Yep, I finished it off. And as I told Dave, first movie I've ever had to have with subtitles on. Because the whole Rasta stuff. Okay, great. I will say this. It redeems itself to a certain point in the last third of the movie. I was really disappointed over the first hour.
Right.
Because they're making Bob Marley out to be some kind of perfect hero who never did anything wrong. And
he was a flawed individual.
I told you I had my issues with the opening scene with him smoking pot with his kids in the car. And we're supposed to go, oh, that's great. He's just a free spirit. No, that's wrong. He shouldn't do that. And then they started to allude to very, very carefully, brief glimpses in the background of women looking at him, implying that he screwed around on Rita, his wife.
Well, of course he did.
Finally, in the last half an hour, they do the dike breaks, and they finally say, hey, he had issues, he had problems, he had children from other women that Rita had to care for, which I actually liked it. That made Bob Marley more likable to me, and that he was flawed. He was a human. He wasn't a god, as they were trying to make him out to be in the first hour.
But he took responsibility.
Well, he watched out for the kids, yeah. So,
which is more than some would do.
Right. So they still made him out to be better than everyone else, but he at least We saw a little bit of a violent side, a little bit of a jealous side to him. That the first hour is just like, why don't you just polish his halo every 5 minutes? You know, I got a little tired of that. I really got tired of that. And I think I alluded to it when we talked
Yeah.
about it when I first started watching it. His mentor, his Rastafarian mentor, who thank God they ditched completely after the first half an hour. He's the one person that brings the whole thing down. And the message of Bob Marley, where he wants people to get together, and as the title says, one love. He wants everybody, his little mentor, hateful, nasty mentor in Jamaica, talking about, oh, we should never ever pray to the white man's God. Rasta God is a black God. It's like, then 2 minutes later, they're saying, hey, we're all together. One is one. So
Yeah.
what is it? What's the message?
What?
He's the one that's mixing up the message. So at least as portrayed in the movie, Bob Marley does care about everybody. And you do get that in the movie. Is it true? I don't know.
There you go.
And of course, he died young, tragically, from cancer. So at least the back end redeems it and doesn't make it out to be, some kind of idolatry. Bob Marley could do no wrong. We
Yeah.
see the flaws, we see the warts and all. Still, I can only give Bob Marley one love a week, two frenzies.
All right. There we go.
Books. We need books, Dave.
Books. I got a book finally. It's been a while. Way too long. John Sandford's latest, Toxic Prey. So, the Prey books the last few years have been a combination with Lucas Davenport and Virgil Flowers. Not true Prey books. Sorry, they're not. This one is further from those than you could possibly imagine. This pairs up Lucas with his adopted daughter, Letty,
Who's had two books of
who's
her own.
had two books of her own. This should just have been a straight out Letty Davenport with Lucas as a side character, because that's what it was. This was 80% Letty, 20% Lucas. I am sick of Lucas having to share the stage. He is the top dog. He is the alpha hunter and deserves to have his standalone Prey books.
Now, it's been 5 years, 6 years?
Yes.
Since he got a standalone?
Yeah. I'm so tired of Sandford pulling this bullshit. If you want Letty, throw a Letty out there. This should have been no Lucas involved, period. Different title. This is not a Prey book.
But they do it because when they see Lucas and they
It
see
draws
the Prey,
everybody in.
they see the Prey title.
And I'm done with this. Done. It's a sellout.
Yep.
Laziness by the author. I loved the premise where you've got a genius scientist who wants to save the Earth, Gaia, who's dying because of humanity, and he comes up with a combination Marburg virus with measles to be the super strain to wipe out at least half the population of the planet in a short period of time. Marburg is horrible. Measles is easily transmittable. Very believable premise on this. And so he's got his little cadre that if they get out and hit a couple of major hub airports, it's all over. But they get wind Homeland Security finds out early on where Letty works. They bring in the marshals with Davenport and his partner Ray, and they bring in Hawkins, the MI5, because the guy's British, and Letty has her hookup. And I will give this a very weak 3, primarily because they're Sandford selling out on the prey piece.
And you know what the thing is, when you have to point that out to me, when I think about it, and I gave up on the prey books. I did. I admit it. But I read the ones with Virgil because I love Virgil Flowers as a side character. To me, he connects with me more. But you're absolutely right.
I've been in with Davenport from the beginning.
Why won't they go back to just giving him his own prey book?
Because Sandford's trying. He doesn't want to write
2 books
a year.
Because they used to do that.
Yeah, you used to have a Davenport and a Flowers.
Yep.
Then he started getting wishy-washy and put the 2 of them together, and then he did those 2 and then a Letty, and now he combined Letty and Lucas. No. It's really frustrating as a fan.
I can see that. Yeah.
It's really starting to piss me off.
Yeah, no, I can see that. It's ridiculous. Now that you point that out, because I don't read the prey books like I used to. But you point that out, and it's like, yeah, if I was a fan of just Lucas Davenport, I'd get pissed off because he hasn't had a solo prey book in 5-6 years.
Yeah, and as much as I like Virgil and Lucas together, I want my fucking standalones.
And he did a good job in terms of, I'll give him credit for this, stylistically, I could tell the difference between the 2. The prey books were always more involved, longer,
darker,
more detailed, darker, and a little more jokey, shorter, with the Virgil Flowers novels. But yeah, like you said, he smushed them together, and then we've never been able to go back.
Yeah, and he needs to go back to Lucas being the dark alpha killer that he is.
Well, yeah. Why doesn't he just, sell his name out to somebody like James Patterson does to 50 different people and say, here, you write a book and I'll put my name on it. It'll sell millions.
No, because then you're going to get the bullshit reacher of the brothers.
Andrew
coming in and fucking it up.
Yeah, that's one thing. At least, you are the book expert, but at least Alex Cross, that is still Patterson.
That is still straight up Patterson.
He does not mess with that one.
No.
But you're right. Lee Child has bargained with his brother now with the Reacher books.
And you can tell when each one of them has written a piece.
Yep. All right, so we got a couple little things to deal with before we move on to Moments of Silence and our 5 contenders for the Red Foreman Dumbasses of the Week. Foot, would you like to take a trip? That's my new favorite line. Why, yes, I would, as long as it's up someone's ass. But first,
Dead Boy Detectives.
Yes, we have to cover that real quick. Next week, our full review of the entire 8-episode first season of Dead Boy Detectives. Dave's just barely ahead of me. I'm a little bit through episode 6. He's finished off episode 6.
Wow. I will just say cliffhanger.
Yep. And it's great. I'm telling you, it is great.
This is very well done. Yes, there's PC pieces to it, but it's written that way. It's original.
Yep.
I'm fine with it.
Yep.
I have no issues. As we said, do not take established characters and change them. Have something original. This is what is fine. It's all good.
Yep. Yep. And again, shame on Max.
For bailing on this,
Yeah,
yes.
Max this should have been a perfect segue out of Doom Patrol. And
Well,
again, you can argue whether this is Doom
Titans
Patrol.
and Doom Patrol never should have been finished off the way they were.
Right. But
And this should have just rolled right along with them to continue.
Yeah, I'm shocked they held on to Peacemaker, to be honest with you.
Yeah, well, when are we going to get it? Another 2 years?
They just started filming season 2.
Freaking ridiculous.
But this should have been the companion piece. You know, if they wanted to run 2 shows from the DC universe simultaneously, these would have been the next 2.
Yeah.
Peacemaker and Dead Boys. And nope. And Netflix, thank God, was smart enough
They
to
can
say,
pull it into
we've
the
got,
Sandman
yeah,
universe.
we've got the Sandman, so we can connect them to this universe, and we'll bring it in. And it's great. It's great.
Fantastic.
Again, we will have a full review next week for you of season 1 of Dead Boy Detectives. Couple little things bounce off of you, pop culture wise, and then I've got 2 badasses of the week before we go to death and dumb. How do you feel about the Chevy Malibu ceasing production?
Whatever.
That seems a little sad to me. I always kind of thought the Malibu was cool.
The early Malibus of the last 20 years, they've been the generic
But, I mean, that name just has some kind of cachet. You know, some kind of cultural, long-term, legendary cachet.
Yeah. But again, it went generic, as did the Impala, as did everything else.
Yep.
Everything frickin' looks similar.
And then, of course, personally for me, I know you don't care because, you know, your food tastes are really wonky and fucked up. But the fact that Red Lobster might be failing in its death spiral is killing me.
They did it to themselves by continually running their all-you-can-eat shrimp. It was an occasional thing that they would do, and they tried to make it an everyday thing. They shot themselves in the foot.
And I know the price of seafood is ridiculous, so it's very hard to run a restaurant based on seafood, considering how much that costs.
Yeah.
But my God, if Red Lobster, I can't go to Denny's and I can't go to Red Lobster now? What the fuck? But no, McDonald's 47 locations within 5 miles of your house.
Yep, and you're gonna pay $25 for a Big Mac, large fries, and a large drink.
Oh no, they're bringing back a $5 value meal. I heard, Dave. Can you imagine what that is?
Yeah,
ultra small fries, ultra small drink,
and a regular hamburger.
Yeah.
Not even a cheeseburger.
Yeah, it'll be $5 for that. Exactly. And
Bullshit.
they're gonna go, look, America, look how much we love you.
No,
the Golden Arches love you.
Suck.
And then Brian Cox go, bah, 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 bah. That fucktard. I hate him. Go back to Britain if you hate America so much. He's one of those nut job liberals.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Stay in California.
Yeah.
Bitch.
You love making money here, but the minute you don't like whoever's president, you get all pissy. You, De Niro, Bette Midler, go the fuck away. Out. All right, my two badasses of the week. Clint Eastwood badasses of the week. This one needs a visual aid, but I will have to do my best. Cool name, by the way. Guy in California. So he's stuck in California, the poor guy. He's living in
Poor bastard.
Seaside, California. His name is Etienne Constable. That's like a cool name for a character in a book, isn't it?
That would be.
Etienne Constable. He was told by the powers that be in California, in Seaside, he had a boat. And he had it parked on the side of his house, a dirt patch
Yeah.
on the side of his house. And they said, no, 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 no. No, no, no. This is California. We're going to tell you how to live your life. So, number one, you need to put it on a concrete pad. And then number two, you need a 6-foot fence around it because it's an eyesore.
So we put up the 6-foot fence. And they said, no, that's not an adequate 6-foot fence.
No. What he did put out the concrete pad, and he put the boat on the concrete pad. And then he built the fence. But what he did was he commissioned an artist to paint the fence to make it look like the boat. So if you're looking at it from the front, you see the bushes and you see the front of the boat, and you go to the side and you look at the fence. Yep.
And you see the side of the boat.
And you go to the back and you see the back of the boat. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
A big F-U to California.
Yep. And he said they never gave him a hard time about it.
No, because it's a fence.
Yeah, they never said you couldn't paint anything other than the solid color on the fence. So good for him. Etienne Constable. Again,
you win.
Awesome name.
You win.
Awesome name. And then we go to another member of high California society, but in a good way. Dame Judi Dench. Of course, one of the most revered female actresses in the world. Getting a little tired, like us, of all the snowflakes. And she's getting a little sick of the fact that now she's back in Britain, of course, her home territory, trying to do things on the stage. And, of course, we've talked about it in the past. All the trigger warnings they're putting out there. Do not see this show if you're triggered by this, that, and the other, blah, 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 blah. And Judi Dench, God help me. You know, her and Helen Mirren, for old women, they kick ass.
They do. They still get it.
Yes. I love them. I think they're awesome. Judi Dench said, if you're that sensitive where you need a trigger warning, then you shouldn't go to the theater.
Then you shouldn't leave your house.
But yeah, that's the whole point. Why are we accommodating all the snowflakes and say, well, because if you're triggered by light, if you're triggered by trauma, if you're triggered by abuse, if you're triggered, shut up! Go home and wrap yourself in bubble wrap. And don't ruin it for everybody else.
If you cannot handle life, do not walk out your door.
There we go. So,
good for her.
Judi Dench, Dame Judi Dench. Awesome. Awesome job. All right, moments of silence.
Big one. The King of the Bees. The great, legendary writer, director, producer, Roger Corman, has passed away at 98.
And kids, you would not believe the kind of stuff that Roger Corman has influenced. Dave and I always talk about a show that was on about 8-9 years ago on the Sci-Fi Network, Blood Drive. That is directly influenced by Roger Corman.
Yep. How many directors did he give their first opportunity? Scorsese. He discovered Jack Nicholson.
Yeah. And how many of them have turned into snowflakes?
Yeah.
Where he always stayed true to his B-movie roots.
Yep. One of his most popular, famous movies, Death Race 2000. David Carradine.
Yep.
Sylvester Stallone.
Yep.
One of Stallone's first movie.
Yep. Yeah, big loss. Big loss losing Roger Corman. Of course, Dave and I, growing up in the era that we did, being as old as we are. Yes, the first scene in Jaws. The iconic first scene in Jaws. You could have just one scene in a movie, never be a star again, never do anything again, but to be known for that scene. There are plenty of other scenes like that, but that iconic scene in Jaws.
Stunt woman.
Yep, Susan Backliny.
She was the stunt woman who said, "Let me play this character all the way through."
Yep. And of course, pull down,
jerk side to side.
Yep. She was the first victim of the great white shark in Jaws. Again, iconic moment in movies.
Yep. Thoughts and prayers to her family and friends. She was 77.
And then we've got some from the music world. The great legendary jazz saxophonist David Sanborn passed away. A lot of people don't realize he played on some huge hits, including Bruce Springsteen's 10th Avenue Freeze Out. Then we have the original drummer for not Jefferson Airplane, but Jefferson Starship. Again, you got to keep these things in line, kids.
Yes.
Jefferson Starship, of course, the 70s incarnation of that band.
Started as Jefferson Airplane, Jefferson Starship, then Starship.
Right. John Barbata, technically the original drummer for Jefferson Starship, just passed away. And then, God bless Dee Snider. God bless. We're going to see him later this summer. God bless him. He didn't die. He did not die, kids. No. But I'm leading into it. The final original member of the MC5, Dennis Thompson, the drummer, passed away here recently. And Dee Snider went on an absolute rant to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, who we all fucking hate. We all hate the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
The Music Hall of Fame?
Dee Snider said what we all have been saying. We said it a couple weeks ago when they announced Jimmy Buffett getting in after he died. And Dee Snider put it as simple as you could possibly put it when he heard about Dennis Thompson dying from the MC5, knowing they got the special award this year and they're going in. But all the original members are dead. Dee Snider said, how about you fucking put these people in before they die? While they're alive.
That would make the most sense, wouldn't it?
And you could take that across sports.
Oh, yeah. Lots.
But these people penalize other individuals because they didn't like the way they conducted themselves.
Yeah, well,
or they
so effing what?
They weren't quite good enough. Just put them in, like Dee Snider said. You know goddamn well you're going to put these people in eventually.
Put them in while they're still alive, damn it.
So thoughts and prayers to everybody we listed. John Barbata, David Sanborn, Susan Backliny, Roger Corman, and Dennis Thompson.
All right. It's time to pivot to find out.
Thank you, Ross.
Let's find out who is our Red Foreman dumbass of the week.
All right, 5 nominees. Now, I don't get this. I don't get this one, Dave. Have you heard about this iPad? You're an Apple guy, right? You're an Apple guy.
Yeah.
You like Apple. Have you seen the commercial for the iPad Pro, the new commercial that everybody's all pissed off about?
Yeah, where they crush all the man-made items,
Yeah, the
the
guitars,
cultural
the
things
piano.
throughout.
Why is everybody so mad about this? Because I look at it as they're saying we're crushing everything, putting it into a little tiny slim iPad.
That's the thing.
But everybody's looking at it like, you're destroying American culture.
It's
I'm like,
because,
come on.
you can create your music on the iPad, so you're going to play everything there instead of learning how to play the fucking guitar or a piano, actually play an instrument.
See, I don't get it like that. I think that what they're showing is
This is more the whole, it's the fear of the whole AI thing, where you're letting that technology do the creation instead of you actually doing
I'm
stuff.
not getting that. I'm not getting that. I'm getting it as all the commercial is saying is that we're compressing all of these unbelievably things. The piano, the guitar. I don't look at it as learning to play the guitar or the piano. I'm looking at it as the music. Now you can play it on your iPad Pro.
Yeah,
See,
you
that's
do
what
it
I don't
on
get.
there, you create on there, and it plays, and you're not actually doing anything.
See, I'm not talking about playing. I'm talking about listening.
No,
That's how I look
they're
at it.
talking about full creation.
See, that's where I'm not getting this.
Yeah, you're thinking, oh, just listening and whatever.
Right.
No, this is actually,
and the colors because they crush the paint.
Yeah.
But
let's let AI generate all the stuff instead of you
I'm not
actually
looking at it like that. But okay, you're with Hugh Grant, Justine Bateman, by the way, who looks rough.
Oh, she's
who are out there as celebrities criticizing Apple CEO Tim Cook for this commercial. I'm like, what's the big fucking deal?
Yeah, I did not care for it. To me, it's pushing the whole AI thing and the dumbing down of everybody.
See, I didn't look at it like that. I looked at it as you're crushing and composing and putting everything down into your little laptop where it's that's showing that all this stuff is right there in that little slim laptop.
That's not they want the purpose of it saying, oh, you create everything here virtually, digitally, instead of actually doing it.
See, I didn't see it like that.
That's what the hype is for it.
All right. Well, I guess that's not going to be the dumbass of the week because I don't get it.
Fuck AI.
No, I agree with that. Fuck AI.
And that's what
I don't see that like that. I don't look at the commercial like that.
That's what it's about.
I look at the commercial like
you missed the boat.
You missed the boat. You're overreaching. You're overreacting.
Nope.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
You're underreacting.
No, I am not.
I would have expected
as
you
a marketing
to be on
major.
This.
I know what to look for in these commercials, and I think
all
of you people. No, you people are overreacting to this.
You of all people should be overreacting.
If you took my studio here and you crushed it together, am I supposed to look at that as, oh my God, that's a statement on AI? No, you're taking books and movies and music and putting them all together, and you're saying, look how convenient this is. It's all a little.
That's not what it's about.
That is what it's about.
No, it's about creating the stuff. Then it's not about accessing it.
They didn't have anybody playing the piano or anybody playing the guitar.
It's about
crush some people in there, then maybe I'll get it. But no, they crushed a piano.
It's not about making it available in one place. It's about making and creating.
See, this is what's fun, kids. When Dave and I go at it like this.
You're wrong.
No,
I'm right.
You are
Next
not right.
Dumbass.
You are not right.
Next dumbass.
Well, a repeat visitor to the Red Foreman dumbasses of the week.
Whoopi Goldberg?
She could be on every week. God, I hate her.
Joy
God, I
Behar?
hate her. God. Yeah, they're sitting there in the cargo section of the plane of doom going, let us out, let us out, let us out. No, never! Because you deserve to die. Alyssa Milano.
Oh, yeah, her.
Yeah, posting pictures. By the way, she's had work done. Have you noticed?
It's not good either.
No, it's not pretty. And we always say, ladies,
just go
be
gracefully.
like Judy. We just talked about Judi Dench and Helen Mirren.
Helen Mirren still.
Two very attractive older women. Just age gracefully. Now, Justine Bateman might be the opposite there. She's not looking so good as she gets older, but Alyssa Milano got some work done and, of course, posted about her expensive Cabo vacation recently. Wow! She has kept, remember that GoFundMe page?
Yes!
For her kids' travel team?
Yeah.
Kept that open. $10,000 goal, now over $15,000, and still hasn't cashed it in yet.
Idiot people giving her money, you're morons.
Yeah, that's the thing. Who's the idiot here? Is it her or is it the people actually?
It's the people who are actually donating money for this bullshit.
All right. You have been around the world a lot. You've traveled more than me. I'll admit that. You have been to San Francisco.
Yes, I've actually been there twice.
Well, their latest tactic in order to help out the homeless alcoholics.
Who is this helping, by the way?
Well, it's helping the homeless alcoholics, giving them free booze.
God.
They have decided to, on the taxpayer's dime, give homeless alcoholics free beer and vodka. So they don't turn to emergency services when they suffer the DTs.
So you're perpetuating the problem.
No, they're delaying the inevitable. Is what brilliant. Let's let them die. Because at least then we just take them straight to the morgue. And they don't call ambulances.
California is fucked. San Francisco. Whose brilliant fucking idea was this?
I just want to know how Democrats can look at this
and go, oh, that's great.
We're the party that cares. We're the party that cares. You're feeding homeless alcoholics booze just so they will die and go away. You just don't want them to call an ambulance in case they might want to live longer.
Oh, this is pathetic.
Okay, you and I will admit, we're not the biggest fans of The Simpsons. I've never really watched it all that much.
I appreciate it more than you.
Okay. But I think we talked about this a while back, where Hank Azaria left the show when he voiced Apu.
Right, because of the backlash over the character.
Well, now it's official. Now it's official because Harry Shearer has come out, and he voices a lot of different characters on the show, but he has been told he can no longer voice a black character because the official edict is on The Simpsons, white actors can no longer voice characters of color. This is supposedly why Hank Azaria left. Because they told him, well, you can't voice Apu anymore because you're white. And Apu isn't.
But that's not beyond my comprehension how somebody could make a decision like that.
Dave, you can't do that!
We're politically incorrect. I can do whatever the hell I want.
That violates standards and practices here on Sports Frenzy.
Since when?
No, we don't have standards and practices. Are you kidding me? Then finally,
Come on, you're going to come after me for the Buglies?
Oh my God. One of the classic openers from our old Sports Frenzy cable access days. Yeah, Dave and I really
we push the envelope.
We can get in trouble for that one.
But we didn't do blackface.
No, we did not. No, we never did blackface. Now, we would voice black people and put our mouths in there.
Doing the clutch cargo thing.
Yeah, the 24, 34, 47-year-old
year-old man.
Yeah, Greg Oden. But we don't care. Finally, New York City Mayor Eric Adams. Well, we just talked about San Francisco, so let's talk about New York City. I don't know how the hell this guy has been able to hold on to this office. He in a recent press conference, and I am not kidding you kids, said migrants are, quote, excellent swimmers, unquote, so why shouldn't we hire them because we have a lifeguard shortage? And of course, people said, what?
What the
Yeah, you're saying they're excellent swimmers because what? They had to swim
across
the Rio Grande or across from Cuba to Florida?
Oh my God.
And this man is the mayor of the most populated city in the United States.
The man he's a moron.
New York City has nothing, they have nobody to blame but themselves. They voted this asshole in. Same thing with San Francisco, New York, California.
You get what you deserve.
You vote these idiots in, this is what you get.
Yep, you let crime run amok. Steve Buscemi gets sucker punched walking down the street.
Yep, very good call. Very good call. So our 5 finalists for the Red Foreman Dumbass of the Week. Well, obviously, you're not going to go with the iPad Pro commercial criticism. So, Alyssa Milano, San Francisco, New York City Mayor Eric Adams, or The Simpsons. Which one?
Oh, God.
I got to go with San Francisco.
I got to go San Francisco.
How can you legitimately
you cannot
take taxpayer money and give alcohol
to alcoholics? That's unconscionable.
And say, we just don't want them to call ambulances when they have the DTs.
They are the dumbass of the week. And I will say it again. We were promised the big earthquake to knock California into the ocean and off the face of the earth. When is it going to happen?
Just secede. You know, they get all mad when, southern states want to. You secede. You go away.
Hell out of here.
Start your own country and leave us the fuck alone.
Please. Please.
I'm getting to the point where I think it'd be nice if we split the country out into thirds or fourths. You know,
let New York be themselves, let California be themselves, and give the rest of the country.
I think the rest of the country would do great without those two. We'll take Florida and Texas.
You may need to take Texas and botch them away too.
Well, is that just because of all the migrants coming in?
Amongst other things.
All right, he is your Uncle Dave.
He's your Uncle Kev.
You will check us out, as you always should and will, every Saturday morning for your weekend hangover cure.
Don't forget Thursday mornings for your sports fix, if that's your thing.
Say goodnight to the kids, Dave.
Good night to the kids, Dave.